If you're anything like me, you love the autumn, and as soon as the autumn hits, you're like, right, hot chocolate, Strictly, jumpers, dark nail polish, dark makeup, the works. And I'll be honest, I put on a jumper today and I've got the lights on as well, and I'm burning up already. So this is not going to be a long video, it's going to be short, sweet, to the point, and it's going to be all about sensitive skin. Firstly, why might your skin be sensitive? Well, the first reason would be genetics. You might just be born with like more allergic disposition. That means that you might suffer with things like asthma, you might have like food allergies, hay fever, all that sort of stuff. So if you're one of those people, there's a good chance that the skin is going to be a little bit sensitive or more prone to irritation. Now, if it's not genetic though, and your skin's actually become sensitized and irritated, there's a good chance that you've disrupted the skin barrier. The skin barrier has become compromised. So the skin barrier is essentially a waterproof layer which prevents moisture from escaping the skin, and it also allows moisture, like products and other types of moisture as well, to penetrate the skin at an appropriate rate. So if the skin barrier is compromised, you're going to have a lot of moisture loss from the skin, which can make the skin quite dry and tight. That in itself can make the skin feel really irritated. And also it's going to be letting things into the skin at an inappropriate rate. So even like with the best will in the world, you're putting your skincare on and it's just absorbing far too quickly, far too deeply, because that skin barrier is not doing what it needs to do. And so that can make the skin feel like really irritated as well. So if you have found that generally your skin's been okay, and like in recent weeks or months, you're finding that like products that you've used forever are starting to irritate your skin, like you put it on and it starts to sting and burn and tingle, then there's a good chance that you've kind of maybe gone a little bit too far with like your skincare, or there's another factor which has disrupted your skin barrier. So some things that can cause the skin barrier to become compromised are a low-fat diet. Don't forget, the skin barrier is essentially made of fatty acids. So if you're not getting a lot of those through your diet, then there's a good chance that they're not going to be reaching the skin. But not only a low-fat diet, there's potentially, if you're not absorbing fats, so that could be like a digestive issue as well. If you're not absorbing the fats that you're eating, then there's a good chance that you're going to be sort of like suffering with, as well as other things like dry hair, dry nails, but you might be suffering with like sensitized skin as well. I live in London. It's a very fast-paced lifestyle, constantly moving at 100 miles per hour. Stress, whether it be like work stress, whatever, that can cause your skin to become sensitized as well. So you might find that you've had a stressful period in your life and your skin starts to act in like crazy sorts of ways, because those elevated stress hormones can make your immune system a lot more active, and that can lead to increase in like allergic response. They're going to be like a lot more intense and just a lot more sensitive in general. Which can present on the skin as well. Another way that we can compromise the skin barrier is by overusing actives, like such as mechanical exfoliators, so the exfoliators that have got grains in them. That's a really easy way to disrupt the skin barrier, which is why I definitely prefer to use, if not only chemo exfoliants, I like to use a combination of the two. I don't recommend sort of just using mechanical scrubs all over the face all the time, because it's very easy to disrupt the skin barrier using those. But even chemo exfoliants, so like your acids, glycolic acid, that can disrupt the skin barrier as well, because essentially what's happening is we are causing the skin to regenerate at a faster rate than it can, if you see what I mean. So we're sort of like breaking down the skin, and the skin's not repairing as quickly as we're kind of like going back in and taking it off. So there's a good chance that you're sort of like overusing those as well. So like your glycolic acid, your retinol, things that we all love to use, maybe just using it a little bit too much, and that can compromise the skin barrier as well, leading to redness and irritation. But the last thing I'm going to mention are products that overstrip the skin of oils. Now, as I said earlier, the skin barrier is made of fatty acids, and so if we're using products that like really sort of foam up and strip those oils out of the skin, we're going to be stripping away that protective skin barrier as well. So there's a time and a place for all the products that are available on the market, well, most of them. But yeah, if we're kind of overusing products, then we can sort of like disrupt the skin barrier. The good news is though, as long as you've got like a little bit of knowledge and you pay attention to the skin and pay attention to the patterns, there's a good chance that just a couple of tweaks are going to help you to restore that skin barrier, which is going to make the skin feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more hydrated, and just happier and looking better in general. So products to definitely include in your skincare routine are Squalane cleansers or an oil cleanser in general. So I've done a review on a Squalane cleanser. I will definitely link it above. But also, if you want to go a little bit more basic than that, then you can use something like olive oil, which is what Squalane is actually derived from anyway. So you can just use like a good quality olive oil, literally just massage that into the skin, and then you'd remove it with a warm cloth. So you want something that's warm enough to remove the oil, but you don't want to go too hot that's going to irritate the skin. And you don't want to leave the cloth on for too long, so you literally just wipe the skin with the warm cloth to remove the oil. So that's going to be a really nice way to cleanse the skin. It's going to take off all traces of makeup, but it's not going to strip too much oil out of the skin. And it's got essential fatty acids in it, which is essentially what that skin barrier is made out of. Coconut oil is a really good one, and it's something that a lot of us have got in our cupboards nowadays anyway. If you're looking for a really gentle cleanser and you want to make that switch immediately, you don't even want to wait for the delivery or to go down to the high street or whatever, literally you can start using an oil cleanser today that's just in your kitchen. Now ceramides are essentially what that skin barrier is made up of. So many products have ceramides in them nowadays. I'm going to link a load of products below, but I even saw a ceramide booster in Superdrug today, literally $5.99 from the Me Plus range. The next one on the list of products to absolutely include in your skincare routine is urea. Urea is actually a naturally occurring substance found in our own skin, so it's not likely to cause any sort of like further irritation. And basically what urea does is it hydrates the skin, and it also is a natural exfoliant of the skin as well. So while you're sort of like weaning yourself of like the glycolic and the retinols and things like that, then and the exfoliators, then it's good to have something like urea in your skincare routine, because that's going to, as well as hydrate, it's going to help the dead skin cells to slough off as well. And I know when you're doing something like trying to restore your skin barrier, it generally means that we're going to be removing all our little fancy glass bottles with all our active ingredients in it, all except niacinamide. Now, niacinamide has become a bit of a superhero in the skincare world. It's got a lot of the benefits of like your big powerhouses like your vitamin C, your retinol, because it brightens the skin, it evens the texture, it reduces the appearance of pores. But what it does is it also helps to restore the skin barrier. So it does all those things I just mentioned without those sort of like really sort of harsh and irritating side effects that you might get from like a retinol or a vitamin C product. So the niacinamide is really easily accessible. Again, Superdrug, $5.99, $7.99, really accessible product. And so for that reason, it's going to be a really good addition to your skincare routine while you are trying to address this issue. So products to avoid while we're trying to soothe the skin. Probably not too difficult to think that acids are not really what we want to be using at the moment. Acids are great for exfoliating the skin, making the skin look really bright and gorgeous, but while we're trying to restore the skin barrier, probably not a good idea to use those. Again, there's always exceptions. So lactic acid has a bit of a double whammy effect in that it helps your skin to maintain that skin barrier. It doesn't have tiny molecules like glycolic acid, so it's not going to penetrate the skin at a really quick rate. It's got a large molecule, so it's going to help to protect the skin barrier. It's going to give you that exfoliation that you're looking for, and it's not going to irritate the skin as much as some of the other acids that we might use. Unfortunately, retinol is out, as well as mechanical exfoliators, so those ones that got grains in, we definitely want to be, if not taking them out of the routine altogether, just making sure that we're not using them as frequently. So say if you're using retinol 3 times a week, you might just want to use it once a week. And you'd be surprised, sometimes it's just making a small tweak like this that just makes all the difference. Vitamin C, fantastic product. It protects the skin, it's an antioxidant, brightens the skin. Unfortunately, it can be a little bit too stimulating, so it doesn't tend to do much to the skin barrier. It's actually very good for boosting collagen, which can help with the skin barrier, but it can be quite irritating, so probably just best to leave that one out for now as well. If not, leave it out completely, just reduce the use of sort of anything with unnecessary chemicals in it. Just kind of want to just leave that to the side for the moment, just until the skin restores its natural balance. So as well as fragrance products, we don't want to be using products with SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, which is essentially what makes products foam up. But that foaming action is what strips those ceramides and lipids out of your skin. If you do have like an oilier skin or acne or anything like that, you probably are quite used to using foaming cleansers. They can feel really satisfying to make the skin feel really squeaky clean, but it's exactly that sort of squeaky clean feeling that we kind of want to avoid, and may well have contributed to you getting here in the first place. So just while we're trying to restore the skin barrier, we just kind of want to leave those out. As I mentioned earlier, an alternative to use as a cleanser, which is just as effective, is an oil-based cleanser. So something like a squalane-based cleanser, coconut oil, olive oil. Rub that all over the skin and remove with a hot cloth. It's going to give you a really nice deep clean as well. So those are my do's and don'ts for skin that is irritated, red, tight and dry. I think everybody will probably go through a phase of having this issue at some point. So feel free to just refer back to this video whenever you need it. Forward it on to anybody who maybe like you think you're looking a little red around there. Then yeah, just forward it on. Just be like, yeah, I've seen this video, check it out. But yeah, apart from that, don't forget to like, subscribe. There's going to be lots more videos like this coming your way. And until next time, I'll see you next time.